And welcome. Welcome to the middle of January 2020. The middle, like the 13th. I think that's the middle of January. We're already almost to the halfway point of the first month of the year. Wow. Are you back to work yet? Hope so. To those of you who joined us last week for Con Ed, thank you. There was a bunch of you there, and I think the number was somewhere around 300. And now you have your Con Ed out of the way for the year. I hope that's a relief. We'd like feedback on how it went. We're already thinking about what we can do for next year and change it up a little bit, make it a little fresh. So we've already started that process, but we'd love to get your feedback on it and your thoughts. One of my thoughts, and I don't know if this is going to happen or not, but 6 hours is a long day, and it's a grueling day for you poor souls who are sitting in the seats out there. So one of the things, but on the other hand, you get done with it, and you're done for the year, and you can go off and sell real estate and not think about it for the rest of the year. Which is really great for most people, many people. Sometimes, though, people want to take it in smaller bites. And so one of the things that we're thinking about is making 2-hour classes available in other markets like Cadillac, Muskegon, Kalamazoo, Jackson, Detroit area. Anywhere we can gather a group of people and come in and do a 2-hour Con Ed program for you. And so those are just some of the thoughts that we're considering and thinking about the logistics of that process. So that's one of our ideas for 2020. More ideas for 2020. We're working on a resource center. We've been working on a resource center and growing and building that resource center. And one of the things that we've been working on is, actually I want to thank Kim Anderson for taking the lead on this and doing the heavy lifting. But we've created a document which compares GCAR's contract purchase agreement with the West Michigan Regional Purchase Agreement. And the reason is we find a lot of overlap, particularly when you get into areas like Plainwell, Otsego, Allegan, and so on. We get agents writing offers back and forth, even between Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo, where they're using different purchase agreements. And we have to do that because we can only use the purchase agreement that of the multiple listing system that we belong to, of the board that we belong to. So if we're on GRAR and we're writing an offer on a Kalamazoo property, we have to use the West Michigan Purchase Agreement. By contrast, if you belong to GCAR and you're writing on a Grand Rapids property, you have to use the GCAR form, right? Right, in case you were thinking otherwise. So, how do you create a cheat sheet, a Cliff Notes, condensation, if you will, of the differences between those two contracts so that agents who are working in both markets can understand the differences between the contracts as they get them on a listing of theirs? Well, Kim took the lead on it, and between her and Eric, me, Greg, Paul, we all had a hand in creating a document which explains the difference between the GCAR contract and the West Michigan Regional Purchase Agreement. Now, in those areas where we may have other conflicts with forms that are being used, we will do that. We intend to do that moving forward when we have the availability and when we see the need. So that document very soon is going to be loaded onto the Resource Center. I think we're going through some final editing touches on it, and it should be loaded up very soon. Cool. Probably going to see links to our Con Ed program that we did last week on the Resource Center, so that if there's information that we shared with you last Tuesday, that's going to be available to you on the Resource Center, so that you can go back and do the look at my presentation or Pat Drucke's presentation, Eric's Kahoot program. And so that we want to make that, whatever we do, we want to digitize it, make it available to you through our Resource Center. Live streams, I think they're already on there. Many of them are already on there and listed. Any videos that we do, and we are going to, over the course of 2020, take all of the documents that we use and create videos for them that explain every paragraph, line by line, throughout the whole document. And we're going to create a video that has what I'll call, for lack of a better term, anchor text. You will be able to search the document for a particular paragraph or what that paragraph is regarding. For example, paragraph 15 or paragraph, or inspections, and it will go to that portion of the video, bring the paragraph up, and you can hear the explanation of that paragraph and how to fill it out. In fact, we're doing a test run right after this video, after this live stream happens. When we're done with that, and this is a big undertaking, so I beg your patience, but when we're done with that, we will have probably the most comprehensive resource center of any real estate company in Michigan, bar none. And I think we're very, those of us who are involved in it are very proud of that. And we're working very hard to get you the information that will not only help your business, but may help you go out and recruit other agents who you feel should be at 5-star. Gosh, what else, Dom? What else were you working on? Dom just got this big look in his eyes like, what? You weren't supposed to call on me? Yeah, it's how I do things. But anyway, have you figured out how you're going to promote yourself this year into 2020? I know that we do. Some agents have done videos in the past. Some agents have stuck to mailings. Others have, believe it or not, door knocking is becoming more popular. It kind of went away for a long time. And now we find agents who are out door knocking again. Cold calling is tough because, you've got robocalls and you get hung up on a lot, and that's understandable. So, what kind of prospecting is your market going to receive well? Put yourself in their chair and say, what can I create? What form of communication can I make that will appeal to them, that will cut through the noise of everyone else's marketing, and so that they hear you? That's a really tough answer to get to, because for me, what I see in a lot of real estate agent advertising is promotion of themselves. It's talking a great deal about my experience, my years in the business, number of transactions, it kind of all sounds the same, and people tune out. So what can you do that's new and exciting? I don't know. But what we're doing, hopefully for you, is new and exciting, and it gives you the opportunity at least to be a better agent, because you will have the resources to go in and say, here's a PA or a listing contract, and I can source the resource center to find out how I deal with this particular paragraph or issue. I can see what clauses are available, and which ones I can plug in. So that's kind of just an overview of what we're trying to do here for you, the staff and the deal doctors and the management is trying to do for you to be better agents, or to have more resources, I should say. So, odd things that come up. We're still having a lot of issues about septic systems and the confusion on the West Michigan Regional Purchase Agreement about septic systems. I don't know what to tell you. I can't. No, actually I do. Specify it. Put it in writing. Some agents out there believe that based on our current purchase agreement, the West Michigan Purchase Agreement, they believe that a seller, if they've had their tanks pumped within the last 2 years, that they don't need to get them pumped again. Well, actually, that's not what the purchase agreement says, if you read it closely. So clarify that. I would tell all of my buyers, if you want to have those septic tanks inspected today or within the coming weeks as you go toward closing, then we're going to specify it as an exception, as an addition in the sales contract, in the purchase agreement, and we're going to ask that the tanks be pumped between now and closing. We're not going to say, show us the report from 6 months ago, or show us the report from another transaction that fell through, or show us the pump card from 1.5 years ago. We're going to deal with this transaction in its present state and not rely on old information. Specify it, put it in there. That's our job, to exercise due diligence for our buyers. Going back to last week's Con Ed, I want to address something that I've in Pat Druke's presentation, where he talked about the accountability of listing agents to verify information that they put on a listing card. And that's absolutely true. The areas that we have found ourselves at 5 Star, most often when we get called into court, it's because information on a listing card may be inaccurate, may have been inaccurate or incomplete, or I'll call it puffery. It was presented the property as something more than it actually was. Those are the situations where we find ourselves in court. So, from a legal standpoint, we encourage all of you listing agents out there to be very specific. Verify the information. If you want to call it a buildable lot, you better explain where exactly it's buildable. Is it buildable over 100% of the property, or is it buildable in a specific place? If it is buildable in a specific place, identify what that specific place is. Every property is going to have a building envelope, which the township can usually tell you, and if not, a licensed builder could probably tell you where the building envelope is. That is, that portion of the property which can be built upon due to setbacks from the boundaries of the property or the wetlands that may surround or be adjacent to the property. So be very specific about checking property addresses and making sure that they match up with the parcel numbers. Check them not only in the county records, but in the municipal records. The individual municipalities, we found where they're different. We found situations where the county's legal description is different from the township's. Is it our fault if we put the wrong one on there? Well, it may not be our fault, but we're the ones who end up in court. So, verify, verify, verify. That said, I will tell you that the courts and attorneys are tending to lean toward caveat emptor more and more. That if there's a buyer's agent, if a buyer's agent is involved in a transaction, it is that buyer's agent's responsibility to verify the information for their client. They can't simply take the information that's provided on the multiple listing and present it as if it's true and verified to their buyer. They have a responsibility to exercise due diligence and make sure that, for example, the lot is buildable or the lot is exactly in the location that the listing contract says. Now, what I've just told you is obviously a conflict. Which is it? Which is it is both are responsible. The listing agent is responsible to get the information right, to verify it, and the buyer's agent is not going to get off the hook if they rely on the information that the listing agent puts and it's proven to be wrong. The buyer's agent is going to be called out and sued as well. So be careful, be thorough, be professional. Make sure that the information that you have there is in fact accurate. So that's kind of a brief overview of what we're going to try to do here this year for you. And as I said, 5-star leaders isn't just a theme line. It's real. We intend to lead this market. We intend to be the leaders in real estate. And in one of the ways we're going to do that is to provide you information at a level that nobody else has. Tell that to your realtor friends. And in the meanwhile, have a great day. Thanks for joining.